Hi, good morning, and welcome to the Pure Energy Healing Academy here in the beautiful mountains of Mijas Pueblo, Andalusia, Spain. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining bright. Where are we? November? I don't know. It's a beautiful day. Okay, this morning, guys, we're hitting on a topic which is quite raw to me, and I've seen this um, reoccurring theme throughout 13 years, and it doesn't get any easier, I've got to say. And my heart breaks a lot of the times for you. So, what is the topic of conversation today? Outside influence. And what does that mean? Outside influence meaning that you are a beautiful soul, that you have, say, a mother or a father, and all of a sudden outside influence comes along and sweeps your mother off their feet or their father off their feet, or your sister off their feet from a new outside influence. Basically, a relationship that kind of creates huge friction in a family bond or a family life. It's a really, really challenging topic, and I could talk about this for hours, but I'll condense it down again for at least 10 minutes if possible. So I'm going to start with my particular story, which is my father. After my mother passed away, my father met a certain lady, and I started noticing something very quickly, what was happening. And that was the lady that he met started to engulf him or overshadow him and steal his power completely. And I could see a man who was once strong and confident and knew what he wanted kind of lose all that power to a woman's influence, or I would say vindictive manner. We call it vindictive and narcissistic, and you call it what you want, but it's basically fear based. Now, how do we tackle this subject properly? Okay, because there are not just one way of seeing it, there's multiple ways of seeing it. So we have to see the overall picture, which I call the bigger picture. First of all, the bigger picture is that whoever's coming to your life and causing issue with your family, could be your brother, your sister, your mum, your children, you have to take that as something very important along your spiritual path of learning. That's the first thing. So first of all, it's nothing against you, no matter what they're doing, how they're trying to hurt you, what all of the horrible things that are happening. You have to take that out of your mind instantly, and you have to change that for, well, I would suggest that the best thing to do is start to look at the person that you're focused on, who's doing all of this, as in a very, very bad place every day and every night. That's closer to the mark, and you're probably hitting in the right direction then. There is something I want to say to you first of all. Okay, listen to this. It's really important, guys. We become what we hate. So don't ever hate the person that you're thinking about now. If you're watching this and it means something to you, don't ever hate them. That makes you filled with hate, and it brings you down to the very level that you don't want to be on, because that's what's hurting you. So why would you want to even be on that level? Okay, so the first thing you have to do is raise or rise above that very energy to be the stronger. Once you're the stronger, you're on your path to healing that very issue. So like my father, this woman started influencing him, and of course, you know, the scenarios are many of them, but one of them is no contact with anybody else. They will do their best to basically overshadow them or steal their power. And they do it in a way because of their fear, because all of a sudden they've come into a relationship, and whoever they're with, they're listening to stories about how much they may love their daughter or something, and jealousy kicks in, because that's what I want. This is what I want. So basically what they're doing is trying to push that aside, instead of saying, oh, how lovely you are and how wonderful you are with your family, and I want to embrace that. They want to steal that, and they want it all for themselves. Okay, that's fear based. Okay, it's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you. Now, there is the other side of it now that you're thinking, well, why isn't my brother, my sister, my father, my mother, why aren't they standing up for themselves, and why aren't they, why aren't they stepping forward? Well, ultimately, it's their test and their challenge too. And the thing is, there are multiple reasons why we fall in love with people, and there's multiple reasons why we stay with people. And sometimes we stay with them out of convenience. Sometimes we stay with them because we feel that it's a comfort zone, because if they're not there, then they would rather be with somebody who's abusive and horrible than not. The thought of being on their own is far greater than somebody who is abusive and directs them in another way away from their family. So it's kind of like you ask yourself why this is happening. I wouldn't do that neither, because that's not healthy too. It is no fault of your family member at all. It is just simply their lesson and their test to overcome. You can't change a situation like this by getting involved in it. That's my personal opinion. That's what I've seen over the years. I believe with my hand on my heart that you have to step back and just say what will be, will be. So like my father, the influence of this woman, she tried to take his house, sign documents and paperwork to say that when he passed, which was pretty soon because he was getting quite old and poorly. She was very clever. She wanted him to sign all these papers, but in the end, my father didn't. So he did what, even if he did, wouldn't make any difference to me. I don't care. Monetary value doesn't mean anything to me. So, but it's funny how some people will do that. I don't think these people who are narcissistic and try and entrap somebody and take off them, I don't believe they are pure evil. I just think they are somebody who has a mindset that believes that life is about fighting, about winning, about getting, about this is mine and I want it. And, selfishness, greed kicks in and, I want to protect myself, so I'll do anything to do that. So it's not always that they're evil, it's just that they're fear. They just completely live in fear. Do you know what? You look at that as a lovely measuring stick to you. Look at your beautiful life. Look at how happy you are. The only issue you have is that issue. But if you take that issue away, look how happy you are. Look how wonderful your life is. Look at what you do in life. Look at everything that you are. Gosh, isn't that amazing? And aren't you glad you're not like that? So that means if you step away from that and just get on with your life and leave that alone, it is far greater. Now, I know it's difficult if there are situations that you need to be in or involved in. That is something that I always find difficult, because for me, I didn't want to get involved, and I made the conscious decision that if my father really cared and wanted to care, he would get up off his bum and say, you know what, enough is enough. This is who I need to see and I need to be with and I need to spend time with, but he never did. So that's his issue. If he did that, then we would join together and be happy. So I respected his path, his journey with this new woman that he was on. And you know what I did every day? I sent them both love. Every day. Sent them love, because if my dad was getting some form of happiness at any point, then that's okay, And the lessons of pain and suffering that he was going through, then he has to conquer that himself. So I would never interfere with, if my daughter was going with a bad lad, I would never interfere with that. I would simply say, I'm here if you ever need me. That's power, because you allow them to lead their life and go through what they need to go through and experience what they need to experience. And hopefully, with your hand on your heart, you hope that they will experience it, learn from it, and then grow stronger than it. And then it won't happen again. But if I'm pulling my daughter away from a difficult relationship, then she may just go back into another one. So I often think that whether it's your daughter, your son, your mum, your dad, let them experience what they need to do. And if they fail, that's their failing. It isn't your failing. You have always been there to love them and stand by their side, and you're always there if they need you. And it doesn't matter how many times, if they ring you, how many times they need you. always be there, but do not tell them what they should and shouldn't do. And the reason why that is because ultimately, if you tell them what to do, then they walk away from something and they've done it because of what you've said, not what they've needed to do. So I often say, you know what? You have to make that conscious decision. Therefore, you give them the power back to actually be the power. You see, if you tell them what to do and they listen to you, guess who they're going to blame? Not themselves, but blame you. Therefore, we have to be very careful of how we enter into a relationship of three, if you understand what I mean. So, ultimately, my message today is, if you're going through pain and suffering with an outside influence, then send them love and just pray for your family in any way you can. And just say, you know what, this is a challenge and a test that they must see themselves, but I'm always here. So my message today is, every now and again, whoever it is you love, send them a message saying, you know what, I'm always here, whatever happens. And I think that's ultimately the most beautiful thing to do. I'm not sure if this has helped you too much today, guys, because it's not a step-by-step thing that you should and shouldn't do. It is simply your journey, your path. And whatever you're going through is your experience to learn and grow stronger. So we're all on a different path. We're all learning differently. We're all experiencing different things every day. All I can say to you, with my hand on my heart, is thank you for being the wonderful you. Thank you for being amazing. And don't ever doubt the love that your family may not show you in a circumstance like this, because I'm telling you, with my hand on my heart, they think of you every day and they love you. It's just that they are stuck in a situation that they struggle with because of their heart and who they're with. Okay? You're loved very much. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for subscribing to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. I hope this little self-help video helped you today. Remember, somebody here loves you. Grab that. Bye.